So on Twitter, Elizabeth Warren shared that she had been invited to do a Fox town hall, just like Bernie, and she decided that to turn down the offer and not do it, which I thought was interesting. And she went into this long thread about the reasoning behind her decision, and in a nutshell, it was basically because she considers Fox hate for profit. She doesn't want to help contribute to their financial bottom line because they make a lot of money from advertising, and she didn't want to subject Democratic primary voters to Fox. So I thought this was interesting. Um, so I posed on the Bern Identity. I said, Berners, what's your take on this? Because I'm curious, like what you guys think about this. And uh, there was a lot of responses, and I wanted to share some of one tweet in particular that kind of encompassed the theme of a lot of the comments. But I will put a link in the description so you can go read it. And I really, it's really worth going and reading the comments because there's all different kinds of perspectives. Even though a lot of people agree, her not going there was not a good idea, but the reasoning and the perspectives, like there's a lot of different ones, and it's great. And that kind of goes back to the reason I'm doing this video. Okay, so this is not to criticize Elizabeth Warren or to bash on her or say like she made a wrong, bad decision. I mean, I don't agree with her decision, but I understand like her reasoning. But so the intention of this is something that has been coming up that I've been noticing on Twitter, and even in my own discussions with other people, is that now that people are canvassing and tabling and stuff, which is very exciting, right? But a common thing that's starting to come up is what's the difference between Elizabeth Warren and Bernie? It's like they're the same person, so let's just vote for Elizabeth because I want a woman president, right? I mean, people think that the two of them are the same, and we as Bernie supporters know they're not the same, because a lot of their policies, yes, are very similar, but their leadership styles are different. And in some areas, they're very different. And so the point in this video and bringing up this Fox Town Hall tweet is an example of that. And again, when you read through the replies on the tweet, it will help you in campaigning too. I mean, just depending on like where your area is, if it's more red and conservative or more blue, like you will see answers and responses from like the whole spectrum of perspectives and things. So again, I really recommend that. But so there was one tweet, and it actually is the most liked tweet so far, that kind of sums up a lot between the difference in the kind of the worldview between Bernie and Elizabeth. And it's from Kokishimi. And the response is, Elizabeth's choices are based on running her campaign. Bernie's choices are based on organizing a revolution. Right? Yeah. So that's so this decision on whether or not to go on do a Fox Town Hall is a great example of that. So a lot of Elizabeth's reasoning was based on her campaign and the Democratic Party. And focusing on Fox News, the business model, versus Fox News, the audience. So Bernie looks at it as, I'm trying to create a revolution which needs like millions of people, millions of Americans standing together, demanding change, right? He says at his rally all the time, no one president, not Bernie Sanders, no one who's fantastic can do it alone. It's going to take millions and millions of people to come together. So that not me, us means all of us, which means Fox News watchers as well. So, because whether we like it or not, Fox News is the highest rated news network on cable TV. Like it is. It beats out CNN and MSNBC. So there are millions of people who watch that. And they're not all Republicans and conservatives. I mean, there are Democrats who watch that, and independents. And now independents, I just saw a recent thing People who identify as independents is now up to 44%. Okay, that's a lot, and a lot of them will tune into Fox News. So I know we like to think that a network that is based on that spews a lot of hate um, wouldn't get so many high ratings, but it does, and that's something for us to look at. Like, why does Fox get so, like, why are their ratings so high? Why are so many people paying attention? And you know, that's like one perspective too, is to kind of look at, like, okay, I think in Bernie's reasoning in doing the town hall is that he wanted to reach more people. And it was great that they invited him and they let him speak. And, if you saw the town hall, which was really great, I'll put a link to that one too, but again, I recommend you watch that because it's also a great training video for campaigning. Because Bernie does a great job of explaining, like, healthcare. Because one of the big confusions on with conservatives is the difference between government-run healthcare and what single payer is, and so they're very different. And Bernie gives examples of the two. But one of the best things about the town hall when Bernie did this is that he was able to show what Americans, no matter our political, where we are in the political spectrum, what we have in common, what can bring us together, things that we all relate to, right? Which is nobody should be denied health care because they can't afford it. No one should go bankrupt or into debt because of health care. It's unfair, most people, almost everyone agrees on that, right? Or is it fair that corporations pay zero taxes on billions of profit? No, it's not fair, right? So Bernie focused on what we have in common, and he focused on what solutions he has to address those common pains. And so, Elizabeth Warren is missing out on a great opportunity to point that out. But her focus again is on the campaign, on Fox, the business model, and it just spews hate, versus the audience, which is different. There's a lot of people, again, millions of people watch Fox, millions. So she has the opportunity to reach millions of people that would never come see her. Like in her thread, she said, Fox is welcome to come to my town halls. Conservatives are welcome to come and talk to me, like, come to me. But you know what? You're running for president of the United States. You need to go to them. You need to go out to people. This was a mistake that Hillary made too, remember? And also, a few people kind of commented, like Elizabeth discounting the Fox audience was kind of like similar to Hillary's deplorable moment, like making a judgment on the viewers based on the network, right? And I don't know if she was even aware of that. But I mean, I kind of saw that too, like, oh, and then I also kind of felt like, is this like a little dig on Bernie too? Like, okay, so are you saying that him going on was bad and he's supporting like all of this? And again, that is probably just my own Bernie bias, but again, difference in their leadership style and worldview, right? She's focused on her campaign in the Democratic Party, and so her not going there is great for the base, like the Hillary base that like despises them. And a lot of the comments were like, yeah, good for you taking a stand on that, right? Like against Fox, the network, versus Fox, the viewers, where a lot of Bernie supporters can see the benefit of like him reaching out to people not in the base, because the base actually is very small. The Democratic Party represents 29%, Republicans are 27%, and independents are now 44%. Like massive, way more independents than there are in the Democratic Party. And, there are states that have open primaries. So those independents can go vote, but when you get in the general, like, you're going to have to talk to everybody. So why are you starting now by isolating millions of people, again, who watch a particular network? It's an opportunity to reach millions of people. But again, this is the difference between Elizabeth and Bernie. Elizabeth is thinking about a campaign and the party. Bernie's thinking about a revolution. And that's the biggest thing that differentiates Bernie Sanders from all the other candidates by far, okay? I mean, not just Elizabeth, but everyone. Bernie has a movement of millions of people with him. So it's not just him. He's got millions of people, right? Like, I mean, over 1 million volunteers and 4,700 organized with Bernie events across the world, right? I mean, not just the United States. Nobody has even come close to that. Nobody has a movement with them, right? Bernie's got all these people, which again goes back to the ground game. We talked about this before. The way we win is on the ground game, and that's where we need to focus on. But Bernie doing things like the Fox Town Hall reaches a lot of people that he would never, he would never reach. They wouldn't go to his rallies, right? But they're, because it's easier to just, hit the remote and watch him on TV. So, and who knows? Some people might have gone to his rallies now after watching Fox Town Hall. And I saw a lot of comments from people who are not Bernie supporters, right? More Republicans or independents who were like, I don't agree with a lot of his philosophy, but he made sense. Like, the man made sense. And he did. And again, that's part of Bernie's skill, is finding the common ground. And here's the pain, and here's the solution for that. So, let's, come on, people, let's all get together and stand up to the oligarchy, right? Stand up to the 1%, because at the end of the day, they're just 1%. 99% is much bigger, and in that 99% are Fox Town Hall viewers. They are viewers, and they are part of the us when we say not me, us. So, again, I'll put the links to the tweet and to the Fox, Bernie's Fox Town Hall, which again is great training for canvassing. Because again, ground game is everything. And let's do this.